Hello everyone, let's take a closer look at the Best Buy exclusive Steelbook UHD 4K edition of Solo, a Star Wars Story. Welcome back everyone to another Blu-ray review. This is of the Best Buy exclusive 4K UHD edition of Solo, a Star Wars Story. If you're curious about my more in-depth thoughts about this movie, I did a full-length review when it came out in theaters a few months ago, so I'll put a link to that below. Just very briefly, I didn't hate this movie. I didn't love this movie. I think this film has a lot of positives and has a lot of negatives. I thought it touched on a lot of interesting aspects of Star Wars, especially when it comes to the origin source elements of Star Wars being this grand adventure western in space type thing, taking a lot of influence from old sci-fi serials like Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon and things like that. But this is, of course, the newest film in the Star Wars franchise up until now. There was, of course, going to be episode 9 that's supposed to come out next December, but this is part of their anthology series of the films that come out in between the episodic films. First up here, as you can tell, this is a steelbook. In the front here is a picture of the Millennium Falcon. I've always had a special affinity and love for the Millennium Falcon. It's probably my favorite ship in all of sci-fi film history. On the side here it says Solo, Star Wars. On the front here you can see the cover flap where it says Solo, a Star Wars Story, as well as the details of the discs inside. The 4K Ultra HD, the Blu-ray, and of course the digital code. On the back here is a short description of the film as well as the details of the special features. If you can't see all of that, don't worry, I'm going to be reading off the special features later on anyways. Now, I'm one of those people who like to keep the backing on all of my steelbooks and things like that, basically until the adhesive wears off, and the adhesives typically don't last that long anyways. For the sake of this review, let's take a look at the back here, and on the back you get the characters of Chewbacca, Han Solo, Lando, and Kira. I really like the colors, and I really like the way they mesh. Also, you're going to notice a pattern with this Blu-ray edition where there's just a lot of shots of the Millennium Falcon. You get it on the front, you get it on the back. Here on the inside, you get, of course, all of the discs. Interestingly enough, though, is that you have an extras disc, and which I'm really surprised that they weren't able to fit all of the extras, at least on the Blu-ray disc itself. Here, of course, is the 4K UHD disc. Over here is the regular Blu-ray disc. And if you take these discs out, there is inner artwork, which is really nice because sometimes a lot of steelbooks don't have inner artwork at all and it's very plain. So if you take the discs out, you get a POV view of the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. Yet again, like I said, more Millennium Falcon stuff, which I of course don't mind, but they're really relying heavily on it. When it comes to the overall picture and sound quality, I have to mention that this film has a unique aesthetic in the sense that everything is muted and everything is darker. And it was a conscious choice by, I guess, the cinematographer as well as the director that this film was going to be shot in that way. And that's something unique when it comes to the 4K disc, because typically 4K is used to really accentuate detail and brighten colors and make things pop a lot more. And when you have a film that's shot in such a way where the colors aren't meant to pop and the detail is almost shadowed in dark lighting, the 4K format is something that's not really going to do a lot more when it comes to expanding the overall video quality of the film. If you're someone who doesn't have a 4K capable TV or a 4K home theater setup or anything like that, you're not really missing out when it comes to the 4K detail in this release. So the Blu-ray edition will probably be just fine for you. For me personally, I have a 4K setup now, so I want to grab as many as I can, and I love Star Wars so much that I don't mind paying the extra couple of dollars in order to get this edition. There are other exclusive editions from other retailers. Target has an exclusive edition which comes with a 40-page book as well as an extra bonus feature, and Target also has another exclusive that comes with a Millennium Falcon figurine. So just wrapping up here, let me quickly go over all of the special features that are on this release. There are actually quite a few, more than I thought, and more that are listed on the back. So first up here, we have a 21-minute special feature, and that is Solo, the Director and Cast Roundtable. That's basically the director, Ron Howard, and most of the cast of the movie basically discuss all of the different aspects and different relationships they have while making the movie and things like that. Next up here is Kasdan on Kasdan, which runs about 8 minutes long, and it features writer Lawrence Kasdan and his son Jonathan Kasdan and their relationship with the Star Wars franchise with the character of Han Solo, and they probably discussed how they worked on the screenplay of the movie. Next is Remaking the Millennium Falcon. That runs about 5 minutes and 36 seconds long, and that is basically going into the reconstruction and the design and the importance of the Millennium Falcon within the Star Wars franchise. Escape from Corellia is a 10-minute feature that just discusses the design and the shooting of the escape sequences that is early on in the movie. The Train Heist is a 14-minute long feature that goes into the making of the great train sequence that is in the movie. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Team Chewie is about a 7-minute long feature that goes into the design of the Chewbacca character as well as his importance in the franchise as well. Becoming a Droid L337 is about, of course, the new droid in the film that is Lando's co-pilot. Scoundrels, Droids, and Cards, Welcome to Fort Ipso is an 8-minute feature that goes into the design and importance of that particular location within the movie. Into the Maelstrom, the Kessel Run is an 8-minute feature that goes into that entire making of that sequence, which is a really great sequence within the movie. And last up are 8 deleted scenes, which run approximately 15 minutes long. So like I said, there are quite a lot of features that are in this package, probably answering my question from earlier why they put it all on a second disc. I like that there are a lot of behind-the-scenes making of features. Those are my favorite special features to get into on a release like this, on a big-budget movie, because there's a lot of moving parts that go into its production. So that has been my review of the Best Buy Exclusive UHD 4K Steelbook Edition of Solo, A Star Wars Story. If you like this video, please check out the other videos on my channel.